These terrifying close encounters with real chupacabras caught on video will absolutely leave you speechless. This chupacabra sighting happened back in 2008, and so a sheriff's deputy in DeWitt County, Texas, had no idea he was about to capture one of the most unsettling cryptid videos ever recorded on a police dash cam. He was patrolling a remote stretch of road with another deputy on duty when a strange animal kind of darted just out of the brush. Now, it had hairless gray-blue skin and arched back, long limbs, and walked with a very eerie, almost robotic type of vibe. And the eyes, well, they reflected light like an animal, but the same shape of the face was just wrong. I mean, the deputy trained to identify wild animals flat out said this wasn't a coyote or a dog, despite it basically being the size of a coyote. Now, it didn't move like one either, though. I mean, the footage made the local news and quickly spread online, sparking really intense debates. While wildlife officials chalked it up to just mangy, cryptid experts noted the creature's unusually long hind legs, its unnatural posture, and the way it seemed to be kind of aware of the car slowing down, turning its head to look directly at the dash cam. Many people who watched this footage, of course, were skeptical, with some saying it's a dog and others saying it's a coyote, but apparently, according to locals, their sheep and other livestock recently were being attacked and had fang marks in them, which would have been the same fangs this chupacabra had as well. One argument that people had was that it couldn't be the elusive chupacabra simply because they caught this one in the daytime, and it's alleged that chupacabras only actually come out at night. Well, what do you guys think? Chupacabra, dog, coyote, something else entirely? Let me know. Let's go to Cairo, Texas, back in 2007. This is where rancher Phyllis Canyon was losing chickens, but not in the usual messy, feathers everywhere kind of way. These birds were turning up deceased with puncture wounds to the neck, and not a drop of red liquid in their bodies. Whatever, was doing it wasn't actually eating the meat either, it was just draining them dry, which is terrifying in itself to even think about, because that means they were really just doing it for fun. Yikes. Now, one day Phyllis spotted a strange hairless creature stalking the property. She described it as dog-like, but with, a bluish gray tint to its skin, long fangs, and an angular snout. It didn't run like a dog either. It allegedly had more of a glide about the way it was moving. Now, weeks later, the body of a similar creature turned up unalive near her property. She saw it and recognized it immediately. She took the passed on creature, and Phyllis had it preserved and actually mounted. And the skull looked nothing like a coyote's. Now, scientists offered DNA tests, claiming it was a hybrid of a coyote and a Mexican wolf, but cryptozoologists, weren't so easily convinced. I mean, Phyllis went public with this, and National Geographic even interviewed her. I mean, the footage of her showing the mounted creature went viral. It was creepy, bizarre, and most of all, completely unexplainable. What do you guys think it looks like? I mean, it's ugly, whatever it is, I'll say that. Let's go back to 2014 in Ratcliffe, Texas, where residents weren't just seeing a strange creature, they were feeding it. Couples set up trail cams after spotting something prowling around their backyard at night. Now, what the camera caught was unnerving, to say the least. A skinny, hunched creature with a long snout, large claws, and absolutely no fur. This one, however, seemed to maybe be a baby? Well, anyway, they nicknamed it Chupi and filmed it multiple times over several nights. The animal didn't shy away from the camera either. It kind of moved deliberately as if aware it was being watched. Now, wildlife experts again blamed, mange on it, and skeptics noticed that the creature's limbs were just abnormally long and that it didn't have any visible sores, just bare, tough, almost leathery type skin. Now, the video made national headlines, and even animal control officers admitted they couldn't confirm exactly what it was. Many people, of course, not only in this particular community, but the whole state, and also just generally online, once the footage was posted, they had a lot to say in regards to it. One person online said, "Finally, the mystery of the chupacabra has been solved. Beware, folks, they are out there and they are looking for you." That's scary. Chupacabra sightings are getting more and more frequent, and for this sighting, well, let's go back, like way back, to where this whole modern legend started. I'm taking you to Puerto Rico in 1995. Now, that year, dozens of reports came pouring in from people all over the island claiming that their goats and livestock were being found unalived and completely drained. Witnesses described seeing a bipedal creature with large red eyes, spikes running down its back, and long clawed hands. One infamous piece of footage shows the creature running across a sugarcane field field at night, hunched tall and very fast. I mean, it was recorded with a grainy VHS camcorder, and although the quality is very poor, the shape and movement still sends chills down the spine. Even more bizarre, well, the Puerto Rican government got involved. Military officers were reportedly seen inspecting some of the attack sites, and several villagers claimed they were warned not to speak to the press. Handful of digitized versions of this footage still kind of survive online. I mean, when you watch it, you'll see, why it triggered global chupacabra hysteria. In 2011, in the remote village of Silo in Russia, something strange and quite terrifying began attacking livestock there. Farmers were finding their goats and sheep with small, very clean puncture wounds and absolutely no red liquid though. Then one night, a farmer set up a CCTV camera behind his shed. What the footage caught still has not been explained. Now a humanoid figure, hunched and lanky with glowing eyes, creeps across the frame. It stops in front of a tree, stays completely still for like 2 minutes, eats some grass, I mean it would appear, and then kind of slinks out of view. The creature didn't move like a person, its limbs were long, its arms hung low, and the way it pivoted its head was just simply inhuman. Now Russian TV stations aired the clip calling it the Russian Chupacabra. Biologists were stumped, and the attacks continued for several weeks before mysteriously just stopping. Once the footage circulated online, many people had their own thoughts and opinions. Of course, many said it's likely just a dog who's hungry, with others saying it's definitely not a dog. One comment that got a lot of likes and attention though is from an unknown person online who said, "People keep saying this creature came from the closest zoo. So you're telling me that came from a zoo? Absolutely not. The zoo isn't even close enough to this village for that to be possible. And also, I'm pretty sure that's a chupacabra because the dogs do not have tails that long." Well, I guess upon reading this comment, everyone, and I won't lie, including myself, went back to check on this very particular find, and yeah, the creature's tail is in fact way too long to be a dog's. I mean, I just personally have never ever seen a dog with a tail that long, and forget the tail, I mean the eyes too. I've never even seen a dog with glowing eyes like that. What do you guys think though? Could it possibly be some of the best footage we have to prove that the chupacabra is real and is out there? Let me know. Back in 2020, just 5 years ago, and yes, wow, I can't believe I'm even saying that because 2020 feels like yesterday, am I right? Anyway, a woman named Susan in Blanco, Texas posted very chilling home surveillance footage to Facebook that left viewers stunned. At exactly 2:43 p.m., her camera picked up movement in her backyard. A very gaunt, dog-like creature with a skeletal build and elongated limbs kind of crept into frame. Susan said her pets had been acting strange for days leading up to the encounter. Now, many people believe it's a dog mixed with a mountain lion or a rare hyena that escaped from someone's estate, but the main thought was that it had to have been a wild dog or a dingo or even a wolf. Now, Susan never saw it again, and Susan never wanted to see it again, and truthfully, I don't blame her. Finally, we have a clip that has been circulating online, and although the footage sucks because it seems to have been taken on a cheap security camera, you can see the animal, or whatever it really is, walk into frame slowly and make its way across the ground. Now, this thing was massive, and the giant creature you can see then turns its head towards the camera, its eyes reflected brightly, but instead of running, it slowly kind of just tilted its head and stared for like 10 full seconds. Wildlife officials dismissed it as a trick of the camera, and some thought maybe it was a lion, although that begged the question, how did a lion get there? Some said maybe a giant raccoon or a fox, which again, But locals weren't buying any of this. They assumed it was someone in a suit, which also is unlikely in my opinion though. The footage went viral in Texas cryptid groups, and to this day, no one has been able to definitively say what it was. What do you guys think though? So is this chupacabra just a coyote, that's sick, a misunderstood predator, or are we dealing with something far stranger, like a predator that doesn't just, hurt, but hunts silently, surgically, and disappears before it can ever be caught? Either way, one thing is clear, these encounters are real, the videos are real, and what they show is something we still can't explain. Thanks for watching. I'm your host Ashley. I'll see you later.